Well, let's start with the very basic, right? What's your name? Where you're from? And and which belt are you in PaKua?
Okay. Hello, everybody. First, my name is Marco Lumini. I came from Florence, Italy. Now I'm fourth degree in PaKua knowledge, and as you know, every different belt and different graduation.
So you're from Italy, fourth degree right now in PaKua. And for how long have you been practicing PaKua?
This is the 13 years I practice PaKua.
Nice.
And I started in 2008, and I started with Symphony. I was looking for a meditation course, I remember, and in an ice cream shop, we found a flyer about PaKua, talking about different aspects in PaKua, and one of them was meditation and yoga. So from that moment, the curiosity attracted me to PaKua, and later I never stopped it.
Oh, that's great. I can tell that some Symphony students and instructors are feeling like related right now. So Symphony, and you started by Symphony, but you were not looking for class, you were looking for a course, you said.
Yes. I mean, my research about martial art, about yoga, about other stuff started many years ago, about 20 years ago. Starting to read a book, starting to, I don't know, yoga course, starting to find. You don't know how you looking for. And yes, until that moment, I was looking around me, but without any precise idea. After that moment, after that flyer, I started to find in one place everything I'm looking for. So this is what one of the things that I really like in PaKua, and one of the things that I appreciate more for my journey in PaKua and my, of course, journey in my life.
And of course, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, the history, I started with Symphony here in Florence with Master from Brazil. And I really like because he put a question inside me, put reflection, put ideas to think on, not only move the body. Okay, so it was the things that I needed in that moment. Combine the internal part, the inner question, and the physical part, as we do usually in Symphony. So that the trial class of that day in May of 2008 started with the journey of PaKua. And day by day, months after months, I started one discipline more the other. On 3 months later, I started with martial art. And was very useful for me combine the two disciplines with different aspects. In PaKua and in Chinese word, we talk about yin yang aspect. And it was, for me, was very, very important because it's important to balance for me, for everyone, but too much Symphony, too much inner discipline, in my opinion, and for me, I go too much inside. I need to balance, to have to strength, to ideas, to direction, combine and in balance. It was very important for me.
And let me ask you
And
something.
yes, of course.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you were saying like specifically about your beginning, and one question that I always like fascinated about is why people start in PaKua. Because we always say that the information is perceived differently depending on how you are, or depending on how you are feeling at that point of your life, or that day, or that week, right? Sometimes the information is going to be received differently depending on how you are. So why do you think you were open to PaKua at that point? Like what you were like seeking, or pretty much why you started? What made you start practicing PaKua?
We say usually when you're ready, the master arrive to you. So I always think not only about PaKua, but in the life in general. We do step by step journey, and when the time is ready for something, for change, for new challenges, for example, these arrive. So for sure, in my life, this happen with PaKua. It's something like that you attract. No? You attract a new work, new life, new friendship, new training, and so on. Everyone, of course, need in every moment of his life different aspect. Someone start PaKua to train, to feel better, to know better himself, someone to find friends, someone to spend time. So for everyone is different, and this is very important and very nice, because in PaKua we try to we say everyone move out his character, his experience, his inner aspect. Not everyone the same like robot. Okay, so for this reason, it's so nice to meet different master, for example, by this interview, and know different profile. Someone is more martial, someone is more looking for something inside, internal, someone more rhythm with more vitality, and so on. So I think that it's a combination, synchronized, no? The happens synchronize the people and the situation, the school, and so on. So for that reason, I think the people start PaKua, and all these experience that are very deep, because PaKua is not only move our body and so on. It's really in personal growth. So the people arrive in PaKua when are ready, when desire to grow and to do a step further.
I see. And so talking a little bit about like today, right? So for people that sometimes don't know how it works, the work with PaKua, or teaching PaKua, or how we can get involved in PaKua, right? Because like I said in the very beginning, the live, lots of times people have like an expectation, like over, let's say, people like us that we teach, or sometimes even like I turned master, which is your case, right? Exists this expectation, but a lot of times we don't realize, or we don't know how that starts, or how that person is as a person, not necessarily only as a black belt, as a master, right? That we are also like students. We we were like white belt once and yellow belt, and we learned how to teach the 24 movements, for example, for the very first time, and we got nervous and we forgot movements. So we also got that path, right? And a lot of times people don't realize how we evolve in PaKua. Once I heard this joke from like a kid that I used to teach in Brazil. I was like, oh, so when you started as a black belt already? I was like, of course not. I was like, oh, I don't understand. So how, like, what is your involvement with PaKua today? Like in a very basic way, like people that sometimes like very beginners are joining us now in the live, or even people that don't know what PaKua is, or just know that it's like a sort of like a martial art school. What is your involvement with PaKua today in Italy? What is your role?
My role, do everything. I mean, of course, I am the leader of the school. I'm trying to organize everything. I'm teaching more or less 90% of the classes here, but everything is changing because I want to give space to new instructor to let them grow by teaching. I manage one important role of the master, especially who is in charge of the school, is try to let the instructor and the future master grow. This is very, very important. It's like in a family.
Okay. And when you say that you're the leader of the school, you means like leader of the school in Florence, in Italy, only your school? How many schools we have in Italy right now?
So far, unfortunately, only one in Florence and in Italy. In September, our idea is open a new school here in Florence. After that, with all this chaos, this idea is storage there. But so far, yes, only one school. But sometimes, for example, new people want to join, want to learn PaKua in different cities. Mm-hmm. So it's not a school, but okay, I look at you, I saw a class and so on. It could be interested to open a school or start a new class in other city. So it's happened that I move, of course, with the superior master, with the guide of the superior master, to try to open a new school. It's not easy here in Italy, maybe. No, in all the world, but and let the people understand that also teaching a PaKua or teaching Oriental discipline like a PaKua, we could live with this by teaching PaKua. Yes. So I think I try in all these years to give this. It's like put a seed. Okay. You could do PaKua, you could start teaching PaKua maybe once in a week, try. Because the most important thing is not only the money. Okay, I think about the money, I think the feeling. What was important for me, I changed completely work. In my history, I didn't tell you. In my past life, I was chemistry.
Chemistry.
So, yeah, I work at the university. But in that moment, I prefer to follow my dream, to follow my passion, and change my passion in my work.
I see. And
sometimes
And you were talking about like
sorry.
your position. I believe that your position is similar to mine here in Canada right now, right? Which is pretty much at least here we have like one school, the leader of the school, which not necessarily always, but in general is the higher belt of the school, is the person that pretty much do everything, right? So I assume, like me, you are the person that teach most of the classes, you clean the toilet, you work with events, belt ceremonies, and we pretty much do everything, right? We are multitask. But
Yeah.
this position that you are right now, which is one of the main, or to not say the main representative of PaKua in Italy right now. So this position that you are in the school, how is that for you? That this position is where you like to be, or you are talking about working in your passion, with your passion, um, with in terms of like PaKua today, because a lot of times we don't realize, but it doesn't exist only one way to get involved with PaKua, right? Like we can teach, but as we have like many people and very important people, they work sometimes behind the curtains. As sometimes I say with some of my about some people in my group here in Canada, I have some people on the chair, which is the people that work with like websites or administration or um, doing itinerancies. So my point is your position as the person that you are today in Italy and in PaKua in Italy. How is that position for you? You are where you would like to be in that position, or you would like to be doing something different that you're doing today? You like to what is how you are with the work in PaKua as you like Marco, not necessarily as a what you have to do, right?
My position changed 1 or 2 years ago. Before I did everything. So as you say, right, organize events, advertisement, cleaning, and so on. And from one thing is okay. It was really, really interesting because helped me to be multitasking, to learn different stuff, not only teach, but work on different aspects. Also for the ego, because the master sometimes feel with a big ego. If you clean the toilet, it's very one exercise very important for our ego, because in PaKua the students are more important than us, than our ego. So all this kind of work helped me to open our mind, and was okay like this for some years. Later, I realized, also with the help of a superior master and other master, that I could not grow alone. I could reach a good point, maybe, but not continue grow, because I have only one mind. If we are 10 people to organize different stuff, everyone with his profile, everyone could do his best attitude. I'm not the best to be the to count the payments and so on, the inscriptions and so on. I prefer to talk with the people, to stay with the people. If I spend time talk about contabilist and so on, all this kind of stuff, it's important to know more or less all the ideas. But after that, it's better that someone do this stuff faster, of course, better, understand, and be in that position right for him or for her, of course. So from 2 years, someone, especially instructor and master, helped me. For example, now one girl helped me with the social, and she's very nice. I like the post and so on. Someone helped me, for example, for the works in the school. For example, the woman has a better view, better look. They feel the beauty better than us. No?
Have like they
So
have like a different sensitivity, you mean?
yeah, yes,
I see.
exactly. So it's important to say, okay, you are better than me in something, and it's normal. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
and of course it's important. I learn from you, you learn from me. I try to learn what I could do it better, or I could put my effort, and it's more natural for me. But it's like a synergy together. So my idea is find someone right for the right place.
And where you like to, like you were saying that you really like to talk to people, but what would be your ideal role in the school? Like, let's say like, oh, you have like a great group, where you like to be at some point in Papua. You would like to do like, you like to be more the person related to like the marketing and advertising and being like very like approachable, or you do like to be more, which I don't think is the case because you just said it, but oh no, I really want to improve the administration aspect of my school or my schools. I want to have like multiple schools. I want to have one big one. I want to focus in teaching and let some people like lead the like manage the school, and I want to focus on training and teaching, or the opposite. I want to focus more on the like managing the school and have more instructors teaching. How do you would like to see yourself in your role in anytime soon or not? I don't know.
um, of course, I would like to improve, to go on in teaching. Is my profession, is my work, and not only teaching, but try to understand everyone, to talk with everyone with own language. This is a very deep goal, but very important because. As we say before, if we talk by ourselves, by our ego, we don't understand the people. If we try to put their shoes, we understand better their life. We could help better and give right advice. Of course, I really, I would like also to improve the manager part. So try to increase, for example, the social media advertisement, creativity, to create something that the people could look, learn, the curiosity to call and start the classes. For PaKua, we believe that it's very important teaching face to face, but without widescreen. Because the energy is a connection of energy. Is not, and when we teach our experience, not only the stuff, the stuff.
Knowledge.
So
right?
yes, try to find a way to reach the people and let understand the people what is PaKua. Because sometimes, for me, maybe because not so good, PaKua is so big, it's so amazing, so many stuff that it's not easy to explain in a few words and in order the people understand everything. Okay, because also me, I'm student in PaKua, so I am continue learning day by day, year by year, with the superior master and with the regular training, the regular life. So this would be important goal. find a different way to reach different people in a different way.
So spread
It's
more your tools.
Yes, because what's one of the things that I like more in PaKua that we stay with people from 4 years old to 80, 85, 90, depends. So, and I work with this wide spectrum. So it's important to talk with the parents to understand that PaKua and martial art is important for the kids. For the old people, feel the healthy, the muscles, the life, understand about nutrition, and so on. The young people, for acrobatic, for rhythm, and so on. Yes, find a different way to reach as much people as we can.
Okay. And you were saying about, for example, that PaKua like has like a big impact, right? And we definitely know that for those that practice for like a little bit longer time than just like a couple of months, we know that we have like some impact, and we know that the training has some impact in our lives, physically and mentally. And I'd like you to like say the main changes that you noticed since you start practicing, like the main changes that you felt like after you start practicing PaKua. Is like, yeah, that those points definitely changed like a lot for me.
In my life, in my experience, PaKua, the practice of PaKua gave me very big, fast, and practical change in a few months. I started to be vegetarian. I started to decide who want to spend time, which kind of book, which kind of life I wanted to live. So it's like helped me to open my mind. And also for a lot of people that I know that I pass to in the school. And one important things that PaKua help to talk in front of the people, like me now. I think without the practice of PaKua, without the teaching PaKua, for example, international classes in front of more than 100 of people, I could not be able to talk with you in English and not feel shaken. So, as you mentioned at the beginning, we started to give the people, the students, one space to teach small things. For example, 24 movements that for the people don't practice PaKuas are moving from Chinese medicine, Chinese gym, to help the health in general. So the students started to coming from talk, do the exercises, do example, started to talk to in front of the people. This is very important for shy people. Many masters told me about this. Before I was shy in one corner, afraid. Now I could talk without problem.
So if we put, for example, a photo of you from like 13 years ago and a photo of you today, side by side, you would say that the main differences would be you learn how to be more open in general, like open mind and less shy, or like more like extroverted in general. So two more like mental aspects, right? And what about like some like physical aspects? You felt like you said in the very beginning, definitely you felt like differences and improvements, absolutely. But what do you think was like the most improvement, like physically speaking, that you felt like right away?
The most advantage in practice, in my opinion, is know more about our body, how it works more, how, for example, the food that needs, which kind of exercises, which is our limit. If you know better, you could train better, more precise, more smart. And of course, it's small things, but really could change your life. For example, if you train, if you move your body in a different way, you could sleep better. And for someone, this really could change his life. For example, you release your stress. So also the posture, if you're stressed like this, or okay, you could breathe, you could open your chest, you could open to the life also, no? Not only from physical point of view. In my opinion, and not only my opinion, of course, our body, our posture is always correlated with our feeling, emotion. So if your shoulder are open, if you breathe deep, if you are not stressed, if your backbone is straight, you live better. You are more open to the life. You live with more enthusiasm. So all the physical aspect reflect on the internal aspect.
Master, let me ask you another thing that you were saying about like goals and stuff, and all this also, because we're talking a lot about like the beginning, right? Like how PaKua like transformed you as the practitioner that you are today. But I would like to know a little bit about the non-practitioner Marco, like the person without the uniform, right? Because you said that you were in chemistry before PaKua, and eventually you made this change. And how it worked, the beginning of this change, like for how long you were in chemistry, for how long you were in PaKua and chemistry at the same time.
Yes, we have two lives on the tatami and outside. I worked at the university. I did a PhD in organic chemistry, but in the last 2 years, more or less, I started to practice PaKua from Symphony and so on. And after 3 years, I decided to open a school to work with PaKua. This is maybe a step that a lot of people are afraid
Sorry,
to do.
Which belt were you when you decided to open your PaKua school?
I was red belt.
Red belt when you decided to open your school.
Yes, in reality, I was a red belt, and the master from that was teaching here came back in Brazil. So it's like in one moment I had the key of the school in my hand. I was a little bit stressful. And for a while, I only organized the classes and so on, but I didn't teach. I stopped for a while, and after that, I don't know. I remember I look one video. This no, okay. I need to come back in the PaKua world, and I started to. I went in Germany to finish my seminar to black belt, and after that I started to go on to teaching. A lot of people think that this step could be so too big from one work to another work. For me, it was perfect. I am not able to do too many things in the same time. as my character. I'm not a fan of multitasking. So I prefer to put all my ideas or my energy in one goal or one field. For I don't know 6 months, I did the two works, but looking for a place, looking for students. So my mind was to PaKua. I finished the work until that. But it's important for the people who are listening now. This step is not the only one. The people could start teaching 1 hour for a week. And still, I don't like, what I like. Okay, I have passion about this. Try to move to 2 times a week. Everyone is different. It's important to don't rush too much if you are not in the profile, right, to do it. But in the same time, don't go too much slow if you want to run, because otherwise you lose the train, the right moment. It's very important to find his goal is something that you really like, something that you are very passionate on, and follow. Okay, I really want to tell to the people that the universe really help in this stuff. I have the proof about this. I don't think that I have this big quality and so on, but I move in that direction without any step back. And from the first months, more or less, the school was okay. More student was not so stressful, because I think that was the right things for me in that moment. So this is the secret.
Nice. That's nice. So guys, everyone that would like to leave questions to Master Marco, feel free to add, because soon I'm gonna give the opportunity to make the questions that you might want to know and I haven't asked yet. But Master, before I want to go for I have one question. Two questions actually. I'm really willing to do, but I want to save more to the end. And I would like to talk a little bit about what you mentioned about that step where you faced the situation that the master that opened the school in Italy, which was Master Sundry, right, is one of the grandmasters. So many people don't know, but he moved to Italy for many years, and then eventually he came back to Brazil, and then you got that decision to keep the school open, and you got the keys in your hands, like you said. But I remember, and that's how we met actually. I remember that at some point you, like you said, you had the decision. You had to run to catch the train, right? And I remember that you went to Brazil for what, a month and a half that you stayed in Brazil?
Yes, 1 month and a half.
Yeah, something like that, right? And I remember that that's how we met. And I'd like you to talk a little bit why you went to Brazil, and how was your experience with, not necessarily like Brazil, but how was your experience sharing the math, sharing the practice with people that you never saw before in your life? As a person, not necessarily as like a master colleague, but as a person, how was for you this perception as like a student, as we have many of them listen to you right now? How was for you this experience of going to a different country? I don't know if you ever been to Brazil before that experience, that time or not. And what made you go for a different country, spend a month and a half learning and practicing PaKua? And yeah, please.
Was amazing. In one word, amazing is the right one. From Marco and from Master. feel that in that moment I really felt that in PaKua we are like in a family, because a lot of master like you, for example, gave me hospitality, but we talk each other for maybe once, and we didn't know anything about me. So it was very important, was very nice to open our mind, to feel friends all over the world. Master, I want to go to Brazil. Yes, someone could give you hospitality, take to the airport, feel like, let me feel like prince, and everyone was very kind, and also not only about master, also the student was very interested in someone that moving to their school. I think was important only for them to give the example. And of course, I really love travel, so was very nice also because I went to different cities, different school of PaKua. I trained 1 month and a half like crazy. I did 5 intensive, something like this, in all the discipline. And was very interesting to, I learned a little bit Portuguese. So I remember, for example, I took intensive classes of rhythm in Portuguese, in Brazilian. So for me it was wow, so interesting, so a great challenge, learn something new in a different continent, in a different language at the same time, with different people. So was really amazing, a great challenge. And in the same time, I was looking in the school, try to find secrets, try to find good ideas to catch and use in my school. Because PaKua, it's also this, it's not me in my school. We are a network. So someone is stronger in something and I could receive his help. So it's very important. And yes, I really like in my life, and PaKua helped me in this, learn, find a different situation, find, learn different stuff, eat different food, for example, learn a different language. So was amazing experience for this especially.
So yeah, it was crazy because I remember about this this moment when you went to Brazil, that we never, definitely we haven't met before. I think, like you said, I think we spoke once, and we spoke when you were going to Brazil, and yeah, and you stayed in Porto Alegre, which is my hometown, for I believe around a week and a half, something like this. And you stayed with me in my apartment, and a lot of people sometimes were like wondering, like, oh, do you know him? Like, no. Yeah, but you have him like in your week for you have him like for a week in your house. I was like, yeah, but he's from PaKua. That's what we need to know. So when we mention many times that PaKua is like a family, it's no kidding. We really take care of each other. We really like support our community. We really like assist whatever it's in our reach to our like colleagues, friends, or even people that we don't know, but we share like a great passion, right? Which is learning and practicing and helping each other. And we were talking a little bit about when you went to Brazil for a month and a half, taking 5 different intensives. And I believe we worked together in the rhythm intensive at the time. And when
Yeah.
was it? Which year was it? How long was it ago? I honestly forgot. I think it was what?
2012.
It's 8 years ago.
2012, yes. And then 3 4 months after, my school opened in September. So it was a great experience for that. I
That's
hope
awesome.
to give you and give to your student hospitality back, to feel this sensation also to your student, to you. Sometimes it happens. Some student from the world, from the Brazil, came in Florence. It's a very nice place.
Oh,
We wait for the situation is calmer, but we could do it.
oh, that's nice.
Yes.
And that's
No,
what you were
if
saying,
I
right?
could add something from that experience, that's something that I really, a lot of times I told to my students. So, one moment in which I understand a lot of things. Before I was used to say a lot of times it's difficult. It's difficult. No, okay, you could do. No, but it's difficult. No, put a wall in front of me. No, okay, you could not do it. In one moment, maybe after talking with a lot of people from South America, people from PaKua, I realized the question is, I want to do it or I don't want. If I want, I could find a different way to reach the goal, to find my way and so on. It's difficult. It's only something that you need to overcome, something that you need to face in that moment, to grow and so on. And for me, that moment, 1 second was like open my mind. And I hope to give this example for people showing this video and in the future, and my student, because never stop in front of the wall, never stop in front to one no, one reject, and so on. As I told before, if this is your path, the universe will help you for sure.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so one thing that we were talking about, like uh, memories, right? Like something that happened what, like 8 years ago, and I would like you to mention three the memories that most like left like a big impact in you. Like I would like you to share three memories involving PaKua, uh, three of the biggest memories or something that you lived in PaKua that you're gonna carry with you like forever. So I'd like you to share three of those memories with us that you had in PaKua for, I don't know. I don't know if I made myself clear.
Yes, of course. Okay, first moment was very important. I think when I went in Germany to receive to finish my classes and receive black belt, because I moved there because I wanted to do that step. I wanted to run in a new path. Was very important to get energy, enthusiasm to go on and do everything. The second one, when we did European gathering here in Florence. So I organized the meeting in front of me, more than 100 people. So I did a speech in front of everyone. So was it's like, the moment when you realize, okay, all the stuff that you did before. Okay, wow, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of what I did. Very significant moment. And the third one, a lot. Now in my mind, one image when I did classes with small kids. It's about 4 years old. And was kids was a little bit fat, a little bit strong. and was not he put so much effort into all the exercise. It was always the last one, but never never stop, always go on, always try, never give up. So that moment I really realized, wow, I could learn from one kid for 4 years old. Was a very nice moment because I realized that it was an exchange. I tried to do my best for him, and for sure he gave me back more than what I gave to him. So, and more images of all this year, for example, ceremony when I gave the belt, try to do the knot to the belt every time. It's like a little bit to be a father of the student, to be proud of them, to feel all the steps they did in the time, no? Yes, and feel that the people understand what we are trying to do, with that we work with passion, with love, trying to really to move on the student, not from far, but try to really get closer to the student, try to understand as better as we can, and try to give what they need. We try. We wrong a lot of things, a lot of time, every time, but more and more with passion, we try to improve also for them.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Okay, so let's see. I like to give you the chance to answer some of the questions that we received now. So
Yeah.
one is, can you see it? What I see about the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Good question. Very good question. This is my personal point of view, of course. It's not about PaKua. I took from Marco. I try to manage, to use all this period to understand better myself, to understand better in which direction I want to go. So for me it was amazing time to go in that direction because you have more time, because everything move, everything change in one day. So you have the chance to stop. Okay, what in my past life 2 months ago was nice for me, or was only the habits? What could I improve or do longer in my next life, in my next period? And try to really understand the essence of time, for example. I discover and more the love for nature. Fortunately, I live in the countryside, so I'm very lucky to discover this passion. And I try also to talk with the people, to use these people, because nothing happen for no reason. So if all this kind of chaos happen, is, in my opinion, of course, is a direction, a step to better understand not only ourselves, for example, the environment problem, the social problem, the how we live the idea of money, and so on. So, in my opinion, it's always important feel, understand what is inside, and use the moment outside to go in that direction.
Nice. That's
So
nice.
let the world change in better.
Okay. So the other question that we have, well, you said that you learn a little bit of Portuguese, is in Portuguese, but I'm gonna translate. So This question is more about your personal practice. So how do you do to develop in PaKua now that your master lives like in a different city, in a different country? How do you do to improve yourself as a practitioner in these current days that you're not a student where you have your master with you taking classes regularly, as is the reality for most of the PaKua students currently?
Use any moment to learn PaKua. We could not, we could learn PaKua not only on the tatami, not only with the uniform. Looking outside, looking the nature, talking with the people, understand, for example, PaKua is correlated with different aspects of the nature and our profile. Study every one of these for in myself and in the other, for example. So this help you to teach better and to understand and live better each of any character or trigram. And for example, learn, try to read, look at the video, try to develop our curiosity about all. One important thing is in PaKua we study about from using analogy. So we could study PaKua learning history, for example, learning everything. The idea is try to be focused, try to be in what you are doing in that moment. This helps you to understand how to apply. Try every time to ask yourself, what could I learn from this situation? Why these people come to me? What could I learn from him? In this way, in my opinion, you could always teaching. Try always focus on yourself to teach, to learn.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a little bit of what it's kind of like the curse of being the higher belt, right? It's nice to be graduated and have some experience because you explored other capacities of practice, but when you is the higher belt, it's really hard to find someone to teach you, right? And I believe, like, besides what you said, that trying to be open to learn in any way, definitely the itinerances are really important to us, right? So like my self experiences, always when we have itinerancy, I always try to, not just try, but I do, right? I always like take like seminars and classes and training and everything, right? So definitely it's complicated for us, as sometimes, like you said, like the higher belt of the school, and you as the person that teach the rest of the group and take care of everybody, it's hard to find someone to teach you weekly, right? As is for like your students always have you, but your master is not with you physically side by side anymore, right? Because your master lives like in a different country. But yeah, so and it's a thing that since I moved to Canada, I had to find like my way to learn, as you said, being open to every single possibility to learn and study and practice by ourselves, right? Try to bring like old practices and definitely increase the discipline to do by yourself, because it's a little bit what we say sometimes in seminars about discipline and self-discipline, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're at a higher belt, the self-discipline is definitely what's going to move you forward, because it's kind of being like most of the adults, right? When you live by yourself, you're probably not going to have your parents to do the dishes for you. Of course, each person has a different reality and situation at home, but in general, when you live with your parents or with someone, right? Like someone in your family, they usually take care of you. And when you as the adult, when you live by yourself, if you don't have the self-discipline to take care of yourself, it's going to be more complicated, right?
Yes,
So
I think alone we don't go farther, but we go deeper. For example, when you teach a technique, maybe white belt technique, you taught for hundreds of times, but every time with different people. So you could look in a different angle. So you could learn how to be more precise, how to be more efficient, depending also by the question of the student. Every time it's like you discover something new if you are in that moment. And of course, from the other side, as you say, it's very important the contact with superior master. Talk, have a question, and talk with the master about your question. This is the idea. We are not alone. We develop day by day, but we think, but later we talk with them that they have more experience, but not only the superior master, as I mentioned, also other master, and try to overcome our ego and really feel a student every day. So learn from a master, instructor, and also white belt. So, and in Papua, we have so many disciplines. Now we have 8 discipline courses, so wide world. So it's important also not only also sorry not studied more, but absorb the knowledge, digest the knowledge.
I can share a little bit about my experience here about what you said, because I didn't just had to open my school in a different place, because I had schools before in Brazil, right? But I had to open in a completely different place, not just like a different neighborhood or a different city. It was like a different country, different culture, and it was very interesting how I had to analyze every single, not just attitude, but point of view that I had, right? Because it's different. Even like we were mentioning, and this is definitely something very particular for the time of that that we are living right now, which is Brazilians, as you know, as Italians, are very like physical, right? Like we hug a lot, we kiss a lot, and we have a lot of physical contact. And especially right now, this is something that we cannot do, but that's not related to culture. But here in Canada, people is not exactly in the same way. Everybody's like so respectful and nice, but it's not necessarily like very like physical. Because in Brazil, I never been to Italy, but I assume it's not that different. But in Brazil, every time that you see someone, and it's someone like likely closer than like a stranger, you hug the person, you sometimes kiss the person, right? So we definitely have to analyze like deep our behavior, our point of view, how to express what we know, how to teach what we know, right? Because it's different. And well, definitely PaKua is about this. Actually, the video that we posted yesterday in our channel, for those that haven't checked yet, we posted a new video that is about PaKua in general, but we made the video here in Canada, in the school in Canada, which is about change. And we are changing, but we are trained to change and to adapt to the change, right? PaKua is very much about that. But well, I don't see any other questions from the people watching us right now, but I'd like you to make my final question, which is, what is your advice for those starting in PaKua now, that started or just started or started like not a very long time? What is your advice for those practitioners?
The final, not so easy, because depending on different people, the character of different people. I think the main advice that I could give to the PaKua student, but for everyone, follow your dream. Maybe it's a sentence is famous, but it's true. We live working 8, 10 hours. It's a long time in a day, in the life. So if you do something that you like, something that you are passionate on, you never work, or maybe you work for something that you don't like so much. But the rest of the time, you follow what you like. So if you like teaching, if you like to know more knowledge, to go deeper, to stay with the people also, to try to improve the world, because for the founder of the school, the PaKua school, Master Magliacano, the teaching is the most young work. So the work that really could change the world. If you put every time, every day, your passion in order to help the people, in order to create a better world, your heart really could open more and more, and you feel something that is very important. It's not only about money, only about career and so on. And it's a mission, in my opinion. So when you realize your mission and you follow, this is the most amazing things that I really want to advise on everyone. And use every moment. Sometimes you will find a wall, so it will help you to turn on to overall. Sometimes you will find something easy, but you could learn also from that moment.
But no, but that's awesome.
The second question is they do work day by day. Okay, now start to learn more, train a little bit more, take care more about the food, talk with my friends about PaKua, make a plan with my master. Try to organize, but day by day also, but every day.
That's great. Master, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for sharing with us a little bit about your story in PaKua and your background. It's definitely a pleasure, and it's a pleasure to talk to you again. We don't have like a lot of opportunities to chat in the daily basis or in events, right? Because Europe, North and South America it's not that close, but it's definitely a great experience to have you in this very first episode of the PaKua Journey Project. So thank you very much for your time. I'm saying from me, from our community in Canada, and definitely from everybody, wish you nothing less than the best. And of course, stay safe, stay well, and well, grazie mille.
Thank you all. If someone want to write me, or write to my school, Kua Florence or Marco Lumini, for me it's a pleasure. If I don't know, during the night you will wake up and you have a question, please. There is always time to talk, to know better and so on, and share time and great energy. So thank you all.